Hey Grand Adventurers, welcome back. I'm your host, Mark Guido. In Starlink satellite internet, it is no understatement to say that it's an absolute game changer for RV travel. We've made several videos all about Starlink ever since we first acquired the service back in January of 2022. But Starlink is always changing. Service plans have changed, data speeds have increased, hardware has improved, and our videos have been outdated almost as soon as we filmed them. So it's high time that we updated you on Starlink for your RV in 2025. Stay tuned. Let's kick this off by listing everything we're going to discuss in this episode. Why Starlink is game-changing for RV travel. Starlink hardware prices have come down. Starlink hardware types have changed. Starlink service plans and prices have also changed. How you can use Starlink has changed. We're going to show you our new rooftop Starlink dish installation and talk about what's on the horizon for Starlink. We'll start with what Starlink is. Starlink is high-speed satellite internet from Space Exploration Technologies, or SpaceX. Unlike previous efforts to deliver satellite internet from space, Starlink has deployed a mesh of what is, as of today, roughly 6,000 satellites crisscrossing the atmosphere in low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit means that the system's latency, which is defined as the time it takes a packet of data to go between you, the satellite, and a ground station tied to the internet backbone, is much, much faster. And that makes the data speed of the entire system faster. Just how fast? We've been seeing data throughput rates as fast as 400 megabits per second download and 25 megabits per second upload. That compares very favorably to many home-based broadband internet services. That speed alone is enough to be game-changing for a portable system. But being satellite-based also means that it works already in most places on planet Earth and absolutely everywhere in North America. Gone are the days that you need to be within reception range of a cell phone tower for data, text, or voice communications. We work from the road, and we can now work virtually anywhere our RV can go. RV travelers can keep track of weather conditions or stay in touch with loved ones via data, text, or Wi-Fi voice calling. Unlike traditional cell phone data plans, Starlink, if you're on the unlimited plan, the data is virtually limitless. There are no caps on the amount of data you can transfer. Some months we'll go through several terabytes worth of data, and that's something that's virtually impossible to achieve with any high-speed cell phone data plan. And it is super simple to deploy. Unlike the complicated dish alignment necessary with geostationary satellite internet sources, just set the Starlink dish out, point it at the sky, and plug it in. Now let's shift our focus to Starlink hardware. For Starlink hardware has changed since our last video on the subject, and the prices have come down. You can still buy Starlink hardware directly from Starlink.com, but you can also now buy it at big box stores like Best Buy and Home Depot. So what does it cost? Well, there are two factors to consider to getting Starlink. One is the initial outlay for the hardware, and the other is the monthly cost of service. There are three types of hardware that RV travelers can now consider. There's the standard Gen 3 kit, there's the Starlink Mini, and the flat high-performance kit. Most RVers will opt for the most economical option, the standard kit, which consists of a dish antenna, a Wi-Fi router, and a Cat6 Ethernet cable to connect the two. The Starlink standard kit is now in its third generation, and the price was recently reduced to $349. Starlink began replacing its Gen 2 dishes around the end of 2023, And this is what we recently started using after we replaced our Gen 2 dish. The Gen 3's cable connections to the dish and to the router are less fragile and more reliable than those of the Gen 2 dish that it replaced. Also, the Gen 3 dish's speeds, throughput speeds, upload and download, are slightly faster than those of the Gen 2. The Gen 2 dish used motors to optimize the dish's position, whereas the Gen 3 dish is aligned manually with the help of a mobile app. Still, optimization is both easy and apparently not too important. We'll talk about that more a little later. The second option is the Starlink Mini, often preferred by van lifers. It's small, portable, and compact, about the size of a laptop, and fits in a backpack. It costs $499. Its Wi-Fi router is built into the dish. It consumes less power than the standard kit and uses DC power directly rather than converting AC power. Throughput speeds for the Mini, however, are somewhat slower than those of the standard kit. The third and final option, the flat high-performance kit, is aimed primarily at business users. The price alone, $2,499, will cause most RV travelers to shy away. Service plans for the flat high-performance dish are also substantially more expensive, ranging from $250 to $5,000 per month. For that reason, everything we discuss from this point forward is going to focus exclusively on the standard Gen 3 kit or the Starlink Mini. Next up, we'll talk about Starlink service plans, right after we take a brief break for a message from our valued video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. Improve your sleep while camping with a new RV mattress from our video sponsor, Brooklyn Bedding. They offer 4 different mattress constructions in 21 different sizes, depending on preference and price point. Everything from standard queen to all of those funky, odd RV sizes. Brooklyn Bedding manufactures all of its mattresses right at their factory in Arizona. And RVmattress.com ships them right to your door for free, all rolled up and compressed in a vacuum seal. Just cut the wrap to unroll the mattress onto your bed, then cut the vacuum seal. For our mattress, Brooklyn Bedding starts with a layer of high-density foam for a supported base. Just above the base, an 8-inch core of over 1,000 individually encased coils provides the essential support. Immediately above the coils is a 1-inch layer of memory foam and 2-inch layer of hyper-elastic TitanFlex foam. Finally, at the very top is a 1.5-inch layer of antimicrobial CopperFlex foam with TitanCool, which is designed to maintain an ideal sleep body temperature of 88 degrees. Every RV mattress from Brooklyn Bedding comes with a limited lifetime warranty and a 120-night sleep trial. Visit RVmattress.com/grandadventure and use code GRANDADVENTURE to get a full 30% off your entire order. After hardware, the other cost component to consider to Starlink is the monthly service. And the service plans and prices are also changing. Starlink service falls into one of 2 categories, residential and roam. As of February 2025, Starlink eliminated the residential plus roam program that we were previously grandfathered into. So for the RV user who's not operating at a fixed location, the only thing left to consider is the more expensive roam service. All Starlink service plans come without any contract or commitment and have a free 30-day trial. You can activate and deactivate Starlink Roam service month to month at will, making it perfect for seasonal campers. Turn it on when you're out camping, turn it off when you're not. There are 2 roam plans available, 50 gigabytes of data transfer per month and unlimited. The 50 gigabyte plan costs $50 per month. We could see the appeal of this plan for a casual, occasional weekend camper. However, you can motor through 50 gigabytes worth of data transfer far more quickly than you might think, sometimes in one evening's video streaming. Although you can add extra data in 1 gigabyte blocks for $1 per gigabyte, the unlimited plan is exactly that. Totally unlimited data transfer. Unlimited roam currently costs $165 per month. While that may seem high to some folks, That compares reasonably with many broadband home internet services, yet Starlink Roam works virtually anywhere. How you can use Starlink has also changed. With the arrival of the Gen 3 dish, Starlink now allows users to use Starlink satellite internet while in motion. It speeds up to 100 miles per hour, making it perfect for those traveling in a motorhome. You used to be prohibited from using the service while in motion, both under Starlink's terms of service and due to the fact that the Gen 2 dish used actuating motors that really weren't compatible with in-motion use. Even though we're not traveling in a motorhome, we nevertheless decided to permanently mount ours on the roof because there were several advantages. Let's go upstairs on the roof and take a look and find out why. The Gen 3 dish usually uses a kickstand. Instead, we've used the flat roof mount from Starlink to bolt ours onto our fifth wheel's roof, which comes with several advantages. I'll no longer have to put Starlink out when we arrive at camp and stow it away each time we break camp. I'll also have Starlink satellite broadband internet available in the truck while we're towing. I've installed a cable gland in the roof. From here, the cable goes down through our roof and ceiling to the router and power supply mounted in the RV's bedroom. One disadvantage to semi-permanently mounting the dish on the roof is that trees or other overhead obstructions can momentarily block our satellite signal. Although with more and more satellites going up every day, that's becoming less and less of an issue. However, if we're parked under a thick tree canopy, we can momentarily lose our connection to the internet. In that case, all I need to do is remove 2 set screws to set the dish out away from our camper. Once I remove the dish, I have a 45-meter cable to set the dish out nearly 150 feet from under a tree canopy and just pass the cable through the bedroom slide seal to the router. Another disadvantage to mounting our Starlink dish on the roof is dish alignment, for it will be aligned whichever way the RV is pointing at our campsite. However, I'm still getting throughput rates of up to 400 megabits per second, even when the dish is poorly aligned as it is right now. So seemingly, alignment is not that important an issue. By setting the router up in the bedroom, up in the front cap of our trailer, it will be in close proximity to the truck's cab while towing down the road. Starlink's own router wall mount bracket used here annoyingly doesn't include a way to mount the heavy power supply. However, aftermarket brackets are available on Amazon to hold both. We'll talk about what's next up for Starlink, including direct cell service from space, right after we take a quick ad break to pay the bills. So stay tuned. What's next on the horizon for Starlink? Well, SpaceX is shifting its launch vehicle for Starlink satellites from the Falcon 9 rocket to its massive new Starship, the largest launch vehicle in history. This will ramp up the speed of new satellite deployment. Eventually, Starlink hopes to increase the number of satellites in orbit from the roughly 6,000 up there now to nearly 30,000, increasing both coverage and capacity. You may have also heard about Starlink's upcoming direct-to-cellular program. Think cell towers in space. T-Mobile is the first mobile phone carrier to partner with Starlink, and their free beta program runs from now through the end of July. Anyone on any carrier, T-Mobile or not, can sign up for the free Starlink beta program on T-Mobile. All you need is a capable, unmodified cell phone with an eSIM. T-Mobile's new Starlink satellite service will remain free after the beta ends in July for T-Mobile customers on their most expensive plan called Go 5G Next. All other T-Mobile customers will be able to add it to their plans for an additional $15 per month. People on other cell carriers like Verizon and AT&T will still be able to add the service to their phones without switching to T-Mobile using an eSIM that will cost $20 per month. So you might be thinking, why not avoid the cost of buying Starlink hardware and paying for monthly Starlink service when you can just get a phone through T-Mobile? Well, initially it's going to be tech service only. Now that's great if you're out hiking outside of cell service and you need to get a hold of loved ones or call for help if you get hurt. But eventually it will have voice communication and data communication through T-Mobile, through Starlink satellites also. But at what cost? At what speed? With what limitations? None of that information has yet been made public. If we've managed to convince you to give Starlink a try, you can show us a little love and get a little love from Starlink in return. We'll put a link right here on the screen and down below in the video description to our referral link that Starlink provides every customer. If you sign up for Starlink via that link, you'll get a free month of service after your initial free 30-day trial expires. Likewise, Starlink will provide us with a free month of service. That's what I call a win-win. We hope that you found the information in this episode useful to you. If you like this episode, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up down below. That's extremely important to us. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comment section where we'd love to hear from you after each and every grand adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you share the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. But if you're not yet a grand adventurer yourself, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. And ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure. So until next Wednesday, please remember life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.